everyone. Good morning. I am Anyeska, obviously, of Wellbeing with Anyeska, and I want to really preface this with creating this was really not my friend this week. As you can see, Anyeska, not so great with some of these things, but really great at what I do in treatments. So yeah, that's the very first intro to me. You can go to the next slide. This is little Anyeska. I actually remember this photo being taken. It was the first day of grade 1 here on the coast. So I was born and raised here on the Gold Coast. I did all of my schooling here up until my massage course. I started that down here on the Gold Coast, then we got transferred up to the Brisbane campus. I've always been fascinated by energy and the human body, and I remember Mum giving us kids games to play to try and read each other's minds, which is really interesting because I think it was more so that she didn't, she could go hang the washing on the line or something, but for me it was really fascinating. Would you like to go one more slide over? Thank you. At 8 years old, I decided I was going to be a physiotherapist because I've always had a talent for injuring myself in strange ways. And from 8 years old till for about 15 years after that, I had the best physiotherapist ever. And I can say that because Mana's not here today. So the reason I say he was the best physio was because he understood and appreciated the fact that I wanted to know what was going on in my body, even as an 8-year-old. And I would ask the weird questions and want to understand what is swelling, why is it red? And he really took the time to actually foster that fascination and continue to educate me, which he really did not have to do. So I really appreciate that. I was studying, can you go back one? I was doing the Bachelor of Exercise Science at Griffith University, and I really did not like the way the course was structured and my lecturers and professors. And I really need to preface this with, that was my personal experience. The approach just did not align with me and my fascination with how everything worked together. They were really great professors in that, but it was not right for me. It was not in alignment with me, who I am and how I wanted to learn. So I decided to defer my studies. I did a Cert 4 in massage because I figured it would be comparable skills. But I loved it so much in a much more holistic approach that I upgraded to the Diploma of Remedial Massage Therapy. Even though I had recognition for prior learning from uni because of the anatomy and physiology I'd already studied, I actually still went to those classes and I helped teach the other students, which was really pivotal for me as well to master that ability to teach others. Can you go to the next slide? So past lives of me, I was a calisthenics coach for over 10 years, 30 years. Wow, that would age me a lot, wouldn't it? Calisthenics is a dance sport. It's predominantly done in Australia. It's a team-based sport performed on a theatre-style stage. So I coached anywhere between 4-year-olds to 20-year-olds. So it was a very interesting experience dealing with different ages, different personalities, as well as stage mothers. They are a delight some days. I was also at the same time a sports trainer for the Burleigh Bombers AFL team, which was a completely different end of the spectrum. At the time, they were 2 levels below the AFL, and so their personalities and approach to care for their bodies in sport was very different to working with actual professional trained and paid athletes. I then did something I didn't think I'd ever do and went and worked on a luxury spa. It was a very interesting experience. However, I did get injured while working there. I actually injured my right wrist, and long story short, I was told that I would never have full range of motion in my wrist again or be able to do any weight bearing on it, which was a little bit heartbreaking for me at the time. However, it also pulled out the don't tell me the fuck I can do attitude of me. And so it also, while working on Hayman Island, one of my good friends is actually doing a gap year from Canada to Australia. And so that's what triggered me initially to go traveling. And working in the accommodation in hospitality and tourism was a really easy way to travel. If anyone's kids are looking for that, I highly encourage it because also you learn so much about dealing with people and not absorbing other people's shit that they project onto you. In all of that, working in accommodations and traveling, the Wickeninish Inn was a transformation I never saw coming in my life, and it's what led me back to the spa industry. If you want to go to the next slide. This is the Wickeninish Inn, and there's a little structure down here, the spa, and that was where I worked for 4 years. So I have this thing where I always pick pretty places to live, hence that. And if you just Google Tofino, it is the surfing capital of Canada, but it's all called water surfing. And they get massive winter storms there. So I love this quote of storms make trees take deeper roots. Because when you're actually in the midst of all of that, that's where you really find out who you are and what you're capable of and what your purpose in life is, why your soul chose to incarnate here at that time. So next slide. So after leaving the Wickeninish Inn, I ultimately returned to Australia. I ended up working up in at Elysian Retreat in the Whitsundays, because again, pretty places. Again, Google it. And if anyone here is looking for a romantic getaway, all inclusive, I highly recommend it. It's absolutely beautiful, and it's the most secluded resort in the Whitsundays, and literally like maybe 3 times a week a boat would sail past. Like that's how secluded it is. Like you're cut off, and it's a small location, so it's like maximum of 18 guests at a time. That's a photo from it. When working up there, though, I realised how demented and dysfunctional the spa industry is in Australia. It does not look after their employees, and I say this with all of the love in the world. If you go to one of the major spas in Australia, whether it's a hotel spa or like Gwingana, just know that those staff members, the people providing your treatments, are doing so much more than what they're paid to do. They are paid way below what their worth is. And so even if it's a place where, and I know it's not our culture to provide gratuities, really just love on them, because they are not being paid their worth. And that's why I created my own business, because I just could not allow other people's budgets to determine my value and my worth. So I just wanted to touch on what energy alchemy is. So energy alchemy is really just changing the energy within you and around you, and what you're able to absorb or not absorb. I can bet that most of you have walked into a place and you've felt the energy, like you felt that there was a fight there before, or it's just felt icky. You've like gone, oh no, I don't want to be here. Or you've walked into another place and felt like, oh my God, this place, I just feel so calm and relaxed as soon as I step into it. And that's energy. We can all create that, but we can also protect ourselves from that, so that when we walk into a space that has that negative energy, we don't absorb it, it just bounces off us, and it's not going to impact us and our day and who we are. And they're just 2 quotes that I love. No, that's fine. Going on to what bodywork and why I use the term bodywork instead of massage therapy a lot of time. A lot of people think massage as either light fluffy stuff that a beauty therapist provides, who doesn't really enjoy doing that, or remedial work similar to physiotherapy of repairing an actual specific injury just in one area of the body. What I do is looking at the body as a whole, looking at your physical body as well as your energetic, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies, and how they're all overlaying and interrupting and affecting one another. No system in the body works alone, no system in the body injures alone, and no system in the body heals alone. So if you're only focusing on the physical aspect, then you're not really going to get long-lasting relief and thrive from that place. I do have a variety of qualifications. I love learning things. I may not love studying in a traditional way, but I love learning things, and then working with the body, the person I'm working with, to figure out what they need. And that actually comes to me energetically. It's all channeled. I don't consciously think about it. I will just know from the time you actually book the appointment, most likely what you're going to need. I also, as Roz mentioned, host moon circles, both new moon and full moon, at her gorgeous yoga studio. If you have not been there yet, I highly recommend it. Our next one is on Sunday the 29th. And so Roz's husband Drew will be hosting a hot yin class, which is a nice, deep, relaxing class. They have full change rooms there, so you can then shower and come in and join the full moon circle. And so the reason we gather in circles is to really amplify that energy. It's sort of like putting a brains trust together to help every individual succeed in releasing the energies that they are that are no longer serving them, and create the space to invite in what they actually want and desire in life. And as I said, it's just a really gorgeous yoga studio, and it's so welcoming and friendly. So you can go to the next. So this is just a quick brief rundown of services that I offer. As Julie said, she received the lymphatic activation body treatment. Anita has also received the lymphatic activation and drainage with fascial release facial. So that's literally all face, neck, and décolletage area, and that really helps with brain fog as well. So highly recommend that for everyone. I do have the 3 sessions mini memberships on special at the moment, so if you're interested in that, let me know. And I also do corporate days or individual spa parties. So if you have wanting to show appreciation to your staff, I can come in for the entire day, and it's all customized to how many staff members you have, as well as what you're desiring, whether it's energy or individual massages. So I feel like I just spoke really quickly. I apologize. That's me, and if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them. But I feel like we're out of time. Jace? Yeah.
Do you go to people's homes?
Yes. So I have a fixed location some days of the week, and I do mobile services as well. And depending which weekend it is, that I do weekends.
Okay. Next question is when?
When what?
When you come in.
Well, I love the way my mind just was like, oh God, Jace is going to go wrong with that. But I just wanted to do one thing. You're going to think this is funny.
You're seeking permission, or you're going to do it anyway.